Okay, I want us now to declare a variable. Now this is React refresher. So the first thing that we're going to do, we are going to declare a variable. This variable will be storing the value of John and Joe, and then we output the values of John and Joe, and we concatenate those two values. So what are we going to do? The first thing, let's declare a variable. So in JavaScript, we use var and let and const to declare variables. The variable is a function scope, which is var. I mean var, it is the function scope. And it let and the constants are block scope. So mostly we will be using let and the const variables in development. So we are going to declare using the let, and then later we can use another one using the const variable, the const function scope. Now the block scope. So now to declare a variable, we first have to use the word let, and then the variable name in which we want to store. We want to use the first as the variable name first, and we want to use as Joe. So that is the variable name that we want to use. Okay, so the second thing we are going to define another one, which is the letter last name with the word do. So this is our two variables that we have already declared. The one is the first name and the second and the last name. As we all know that the variables are used to store values in to be stored. So these values are used to store. These variables are used to store these values here. So this John is being stored here in this word variable. So that if you want to access the word John, we don't just access it as John, but we access its variable. If we access its variable, then it means we are going to have the content inside that variable. We are going to have the content inside that variable, which the content now is the word John. The same case applied here. For us to access the word door, we access the variable. So we all know that in data types, you have several data types. You have an integers, we have strings, we have floats. All those are kinds of database that are used in web development or in any project, software engineering, or any project that involves programming. So like these ones, John and Doe, these are strings. So these are variables. These are strings, which these strings are stored in their variables, which are this one. And also, we can also define an integer. Okay, let's say we want to define the value of pi. So for us to define the value of pi, we can use because a pi it is a constant, so we can use the word const, the word const, then the name of that one. So it is pi. Then after that is equal to, we know the value of pi is 3.14, so just 3.14. So this is another way. This is to store the value of pi. Okay. Now, this being how we can, so let's say the number or the pi has stored a value 3.14, and also same case here we can say John. We can say John this is the first name of the first person. in the list of people who have joined. So this is just comment part. But now with this part that we want to store, we can say that the word pi, so we can say uh, the last name variable has stored stored the value door. So this is then what the door is stored in the last name. So the next question I know will be asking is on how are we going to access this value, the value inside the variable. So that is the next question. So how are we going to do this? So for us to access any value, we use the word console. In JavaScript, we use console. Then we have to log the value. Then here inside you pass the value that you want to to access. So for me, I want to access the first name. So this is how you do it. So for you to access it, you console. So if you are using something like maybe Python, we do something called print. This is for Python. So you do something called print, then you pass in the variable name. That's it. But if you are dealing with this is for Python. But if you are dealing with JavaScript, we have to console the log. So console.log the first name. That is how we print the value of the first name. So if we run the code here, for you to run the code, make sure that you installed something in your VS Code here. Come here, and then this one called the code runner or the VS Code run. Select this one and install it. After installing it, come down here. You will see this message, this instructions here. For you to run this thing, use a shortcut or just press F1 and then select run code. After running code, then your output will be shown in your output section. Okay, so for this one, the output section is here. This one here, this is the output section. So let's run this one. Press F1, then select this one, run code. After running code, you'll see that we have output here, John. So after running the code, our first name is John. So this is the output. We console the output there. And as we can see here, our first name is John. We can do the same to our last name. So we'll just copy that one because it is the same concept. So and change this one to last name. So that's it. So after doing that, F1 and again and run it. You can see okay, last okay. You can see we have our last name and the first name. So we can solve both the last name and the first name. You can see we have John and the first name and the last name. So that is the second thing. And then as you can see, I said that you can output the pi also, as you can see. So the pi value, you can print it up. So the next equation is you can see we have differences of values here. The first one is this one, the constant pi. So you can see here we used this. Why are we not using this here on our pi? This is because if you want to store a value, a number, we don't use them. This is only used for string values. That is why if you want to use it in a string name or value, you can use that one. But if it is not a string, then you are going to use it as it is. Like you can say, let me if another one const, and then you can say, let's say total cache. You can say the total cache or amount. Okay, the way you want it is 100 shillings. So that's it. We don't use this we don't declare it as this one. No. If you are using numbers, then this is how we can declare it. If we are using numbers, we can declare them. Okay, now we have finished with the issues of variables, and we have learned on how we can declare variables and also console the value inside the variables. And then another thing is we all know that we have different types of data sets, of data types, I mean. So when we are going to work on our projects, we'll be using different types of data types. So let's say, let me comment this one and say uh, types of data types of data type. So there's a lot of data type outside there that we'll be using in our projects. So the first thing that we're going to use, we are going to use something called um, mm, okay. So that is it. So the data types of variables are determined by its value. So for us to know the kind of data types that we have to use is determined by the kind of value that we are going to store. So if you are going to store a data type, if you are going to store a data type like number data type, for numbers it has a data type of integers and integer. So all numbers are integers. No, not all. But if numbers, that we have a lot of numbers. You can say that we have numbers that we has decimal points. So, but generally for that short times, all numbers are integers. But these integers are categorized in so many ways. We have those ones which are as float, so we can call them floats. We have floats and also float data. And then we have another one called we have the integer, the string. Okay. Then we have another one called after the string we have something called the integer. Okay. So and we have something, yeah. Those are the one that we're going to use them mostly. The float data, the string, and we have integer. So like if you want to talk about the string, the string, for example, of string numbers is e.g. we can say e.g. we have values like let's say 2.445, that is a float. And then if you want to talk about the string, e.g. string are enclosed. So for example, you can say we have that string called like the John. Now John, it is a string, John Doe, let's say that. And then another thing about the integer, it is like this one, integer, e.g. 1, 2, 3, the numbers themselves, those are integers. So all of these ones are variables that are used in JavaScript and any types of programming language. Okay. Another thing that we're going to do is about arrays. So in context to variables, let's say that in construct to variables, okay, let's talk about variables now, about arrays, and how to use them. So arrays, an array can store a multiple values. Each value is an array has an index. So an array can store a multiple values, as you can see, in a single variable. So we can declare one variable. That variable will be storing a lot of data. That is one. So another thing is that each value that is stored, each value, it has its own index. So each value has its own index. Each value has its own index. Owen index. So what is this index? This index is the one that identifies the position of that value. Okay, so for example, and an array index start with 0. We start with 0, not 1. So it is 0 etc to infinity. You can say 0 to, yeah, 0 to infinity. That is an array. So an array, first of all, can store multiple values. So it is a single variable that can store a multiple values. So, and each value has its own index number. So, and also an array allows storing duplicate elements and different data types. So an array can store different types of data types, and also we can define an array to be empty. We can say an array to be empty if we want to, like this one. Here we declare a variable and we give it a value. Or we can say if you want to declare a variable to be empty, here we can say let, then let's say maybe age is equal to this one now, is equal to this one now. So this one defines the edges now, so meaning that it is 0. There's nothing there, not even 0, because 0 it is something in programming. So we can say let age is equal to now. There's nothing at all. That is how we define an empty variable. But if we come to arrays, we define an empty variable differently. We can use, let's say, we can say if I want to define that, let's first define an array. So to define an array, the first thing that we're going to use, we can say let's constant let my array. So let's say let my array to be empty. So because I am defining an empty array, we can say let my array to be something like that. So this one defines the array empty. The array is empty, so there's nothing in the array. So that is one thing that you have to know about it. But if you want to define an array with okay, there's so many ways to define this one. This is one way of defining an array. Then there's another one. Let's say let my array is equal to, let's say, new array, new my array. So let's say new, then the name of the array that you defined, my array. Okay, not my array but new array. Yeah, yes, this one, new array. Then this one's to be empty. So that's how we define another array. But let my array to be empty, and then yeah, that is another way to define an array. So all these ways are using to define an array. And okay, how can we output the values of the array? So to output the value of the array, we can say let not let console. We use the word console to output something in JavaScript. So we console the log, console log, then we pass the my array there, and then you run the code. After running the code, you'll see that the output of the content inside your array will be attributed down here into output. Okay, that is another thing. So the next thing that you're going to use, okay, so this one, for you to store a value, array, this is how we do it. Now you define the array, and then inside the array, you put the content, set the content inside it. Like my array has these values 1, 2, 3, and 4, and also you can define another array with strings. Let array string, let's call it array string. Let array string, this one is equal to, let's store our arrays inside. So I can define arrays like this. We said that if you're using string, use that sign, and then let's say array 1 it is hello. and then the other one there. So this is how we define an array strings in an array. Yeah. So we have so many uses of arrays, and we can find them if we want to use it down there. Okay, so that's how we create arrays values, arrays of strings with arrays of strings, arrays of products. We can also create arrays of vegetables. Like, let's say I want to create an array of vegetable. We can say the const vegetables as my array name. This is the array name. Vegetables is equal to, let's say, something like this. My vegetables, let's say, like cabbage. That's okay. Forget. You have to wrap it inside. So cabbage, and then let's have another one. Let's say a vegetable like the tomato. Okay, kale. Let's say kale, but you have to wrap it. So kale, and yeah. So that's how we define vegetables. So, and during naming of variables, make sure that you given your variables a meaningful name. A meaningful name. So, how do we call the values in arrays? How do we console the values? For example, I want to console the values of my array. So for me to console its values, the first thing that I have to do is to console.log as we talked earlier. That's it. So that's one will console the values of all the arrays. But now I want to make it more professional. So I want to make sure that this guy knows that these words that the corner that I'm displaying is numbers. So I can say something like this inside there, then say these are my numbers. Okay, so this is how we can make it. So for this code, how it works is that first thing that is going to do is going to have the to wait first. Okay, is going. This is supposed to be here. Supposed to be here. So the first thing that this thing you are going to do is that is going to print this sentence here because it is inside there. Okay, so it's going to print that content first before it's going to print it, then it prints the content of the my array, the variables. Okay, the rule is one. For any string, we have to enclose it between the quotation mark. That is the rule. So for this one, it is a variable. That is the reason why we want to call it directly. For us to call it directly, we are not going to enclose it inside the quotation mark. If we enclose it inside the quotation mark, we are going to print it this one directly. So we want to access the value. For us to access the value, we just insert the variable now. You pass it inside the console.log. That's how it is passed for us to print the content inside that variable. But if we want to print the string itself, then you have to enclose it between the quotation mark, like this one. I want to print this sentence before I print this the content of my array. So that's why I said these are my numbers. So I want this sentence to be printed, then I print the content inside my array. So if I run this one, let's run it. So as usual, press F1, then run code. So you can see, you can see we have these are my numbers, then the values. my array, then 1 2 3 4 5. That's how we do these things. And the next thing that I want to do, I want to print the vegetables. So how are we going to do this? We are going to say console, then console dot the log, then after log we can say we want to print the vegetables, but for us to print, I just want to print I first want to print a sentence. So for me to print that sentence telling the user that this is vegetables, so I have to write a sentence and enclose that sentence inside the quotation marks and say these are the vegetation I brought home today. I brought home today. So this is how we do these things. After that, now, so you now call, or you call the vegetable name, not the vegetable name, but the the array name itself, which now our array name we pass this inside here. Our console also we pass the value vegetables. That is how we pass our values. Then and let's see the output. Let's see the output. Okay, the output is there as we said earlier. These are the vegetation I bought today. That's it. So that is the end of the use of arrays, and that is the end of the use of arrays. So we see on how we print the values of arrays, the content itself. Yeah, we have already seen, and also arrays can have items of different data types. We can have different data types of an array. For example, we can say that let's have this an array with const, let's say const, and let's call this one r, then we give it content. Okay, that's it. That is how we define an array. Then let's give the values of this array. So we want to make sure that arrays, okay, let's write first something here. Let's say arrays can also have different values, different, no, not different values, but different data types. Good, that's it. So arrays can also have different data types. Like here we have an array that will be containing only integers, and here we only have an array that has string values. See, so but now we have to create we want to create an array that will contain both all types of data types, like, and one array will be holding integer, strings, floats, will be holding also a boolean. That is another type. So a boolean, okay, let's talk about the boolean first. Yeah, I forgot to tell you about a boolean here. So what is a boolean? A boolean, it is a data type that returns a true or false value. Like I can say, is this home? Is this home? So let's define something. Let's say that, okay, it has this kind of, is this home? Is this home? So this kind of question, it will be having two types of answers, either to be true or to be false. So if this is your home, then you can say true. And if it's not your home, then you can say false. So that is the work of Boolean. That's how we do it with Boolean. So you can either say it is your home, true. If it's not your home, then that is false. That's how we define Booleans. Okay. That's all about the Boolean. So the next thing that we're going to do is here. Let's come here now. So we want to define something. We have to add values here. Okay. Now we have these values here. We have cabbage, color. Those are two strings. And we have another one, 1, 2, 3. Those are numbers. And we have boolean like true and false stored in the same place. Then we have another one null, and then we have undefined values. Then okay, let's remove these ones because they're not is not okay. Let's say now we have to I want to define another one. So for I want to create a dictionary. This dictionary will containing a value of a city, of a location, I mean. So the first thing we have to define this thing here and say this is country. Okay. Now what is the country name? The country name is let's say it is Finland. That is the country name. So Finland, it is the country name, but remember, this is our dictionary. This is how dictionary works. Okay, dictionary stores, it is somehow like array, but stores data of a specific information. So for this country name, we can give it the name as okay, let's say United States. Okay, after that, city. I want to define the city of this location. So the first thing that we have done here, we have defined the country name, which is United States, and then we have defined the city itself, which now is the city. Then we have to define the city of that place. So let's say United. That's it. So another thing that we have to define, I want to define another after defining insert comma. Yeah. So if you didn't do that, then you'll be having a lot of errors inside there. So after that, mm, another one. Let's define another thing, skills. Let's say about skills. I want to define a dictionary that will contain my skills. So this is my skills. So this is skills. This is another dictionary that have skills. Okay. But now these skills, I have so many skills. So because I have a lot of skills, I can create an array. That array will be storing my skills, all my skills. But this one, I was just one city. It is a location. This one, it is for location. And that location is stored here using this dictionary. So my location is the country United States and the city is United. But now here, I want to create another dictionary. This dictionary stores all my skills. You see the difference between this one and this one? So for this one, it contains all the skills. So I will not define them like this. Let's say HTML, then no, I have to put these things in one array because all of them are skills. All of them are skills. So I just want to put these things in an array. Okay. Okay. Which skills I'm having now? I can say skill number one, HTML. That is skill number one. So, okay, another skill. Let's say React, and then another skill is let's say something like Python. Yeah, Python. Good. So that is an array. So the difference between these two is that this one it contains a location. So this location has different attributes or different attributes or variables. This one, dictionary, contains the name of the country and the name of the city. So these are two different things. But now, if I came to the second dictionary, it is that it contains my skills. Okay. So my skills are many. I have many skills. So how I'm going to store those many skills? I will not be defining them like this one. I will not be defining, for example, let's say these are my skills. Let's say skills. So I'll not be defining these skills like something like this HTML, then uh, React. No, I'll not be doing like this. Hmm? Because skills, I'll not be doing like this. This is wrong. So because I have a lot of skills, the best way to do it, just define the skills name, and then inside define that skills, then put those skills inside an array. That is how we can define this. That is the difference between this one and this one here. So after that, I think we have finished. So another thing now, after this, now you can log. We have already created. So our array contains cabbage, vegetables. So we can put this one inside this cabbage also. We can put, if we have a lot of vegetables, we can do the same thing with this one here. If we have a lot of vegetables, but if it's one, it's okay. See, so let's remove this one. So we have this cabbage, an array that contains cabbage as a string, 1 to 3 as numbers or integers, and then a boolean. It contains also a dictionary, contain my location, and also it contains dictionary. Inside that dictionary, we have an array containing my skills. Okay, so we can also create you can also create another one here, another array containing your maybe experience, something like that. And then if you want to console this one, as usual, console.log and then the name of the array. So that is how we can do it. That is how we can do it. The name of the array, it is r f1 run. As you can see, we have content inside there. This is my number. Okay, this is the vegetation. Okay, these are the, now this is the content that we have. So we have already created this array here. This array contains the cabbage 1, 2, 3, 2 countries. So that is how we define this, an array with multiple data types. Good. Now, also there's another now there's this another question that may arise on how are we going to access these array items, especially if maybe I want to access only one array, only one value. Like inside this array, I want to access this cabbage only. I want to print this cabbage output only. I don't want to output all this content here. I just want to output one, which is the cabbage part. So how are we going to do this? Now this is where index comes from. Now we access each element in an array using their index. So let's have another subtopic here. Let's say it is access arrays items. Good. So this is how we access items. So using index, an array index starts from 0. So any index inside an index starts with 0. Like this one. Let's say this one here. This in array, my array, it has these values inside there. This values 1, 2, 3 to 5. So for us to access this one, to assign indexes, 1, it has an index of 0. 2, it has an index of 1. 3, it has an index of, yeah, that's it, 2. The same case applies here. This array string hello, it has an index of 0. World, it has an index of 1. Same case applies to the vegetable. So each array, that is how things works. An array index starts from 0, not 1. That's what you have to put in mind. Now, I want to create an array. Let's say cost. Let's say a cost into it. I want to create another array here. Cost. Let's call it a fruits. It has fruits, and these fruits are let's say we have fruit like banana or that banana. We have another one like orange. We have another one like mango, and then another one, let's say a lemon. Okay, all of these are fruits that are stored inside an array. So what I want to do, I want to access the fruit, the banana. I want only to output the value of banana. This one. I want to output this banana only. How I'm going to do it? As usual, if you want to print something, we use the word console.log. Then fruit, you declare the value of the name of the variable. After that, you pass in the index of that item you want to pass. For me, I want banana. So banana, it is at index 0. That's what we know, at index 0. Then run this thing and see that. So let's see. As you can see, this is it. Banana is here. So that's how we output the value. And I want to, okay, for that one, okay, now let's access the lemon. The lemon, let's see how to access the lemon. The lemon, it is at index plus 0, 1, 2, 3. So the lemon is at index 3. So the index value, got 3 there. Then run and see. As you can see, we have accessed our lemon. So that's how we access values in an index. We use the index to access the values. Okay, there's a lot of things about array. If we want to do everything here, then we will be spending a lot of our time here. There's a lot about arrays, but for you, it is just to remind ourselves on how we work with arrays, what is data type, and all that. Okay, now I think that is what we have to look on. Now we are going to use something else. Okay,